This is R.D. Sharma solution, class 12, chapter 9, continuity. We are taking the MCQ or multiple choice questions. Now this question, this kind of question we have already done. So it will be basically a raised power n minus b raised power n by a minus b, limit n tends to infinity. That is what we have to do, limit x tends to infinity. Sorry. Now this is a limit x tends to a. For example, we are talking about the continuity. So x tends to a is 0 here. Fx is equal to f0. Now this f0, we have to find out essentially the limit of fx at 0. What is the numerator? The numerator is 2 minus 256 minus 7x raised to the power 1 by 8. So this is numerator we are taking first, denominator will take later. So what is the value? So that we take the 1/8 root, or you can say the 8th root, 1/8 power or 8th root. That will be 2. So this is how we get what we have to put in place of 2. So basically you have to raise to the power 8 both sides. So x equals 2 raised 8. So 2 raised 8, so you can do it like this. 2 raised 8 to the power 1 by 8 is actually 2. So 2 raised 8 is nothing but 256. So 256 to the power 1 by 8 minus 256 minus 7x to the power 1 by 8. Now this is, we can change the place of these two terms. Just to make it equivalent to the formula we will be applying here. So I am taking the terms, swapping the terms. Since we have swapped, we have a negative sign outside. What will be in the denominator? So this 256 minus 7x minus 256, you can just write like that. What will you get? This 256 gets cancelled, and minus 7x in the denominator we have introduced. Since we have introduced this in the denominator, we have to cancel this in the numerator also. Right? We have introduced this by ourselves. So we have to get rid of that. For that we have to apply it by negative 7x. Remember, negative was already there because we swapped these two items. So minus minus becomes plus, 7x will be there. This 7x. Now we'll apply the limit. Please remember, limit is not n to the infinity. Limit is x tends to the infinity. So this kind of questions, the answer or the result of this a raised n minus b raised n. And here we have the limit x tends to 0. Because ultimately it will be 0 by 0 if you put x as 0. So 1 by 8 will come in front. 256 raised to the power 1 by 8 minus 1. So 1 by 8 minus 1 is negative 1 by 7. So 1 minus 8 by 8, this is going to be negative 7 by 8. 7x is already there, 7x already there. So this is the numerator we have got. Coming to the denominator now. Let me change the color so that you know that we are dealing with the denominator right now. We have 5x plus 32 raised to the power 1 by 5 minus 2 here. So 32 to the power 1 by 5 is 2. So here you can directly write 32 raised to the power 1 by 5. Denominator 5x plus 32 minus 32 to the. So this is 32. We have introduced this by ourselves. So the numerator will be 5x. Because ultimately we have to cancel these two. So what is the solution? 1 by 5. 32 to the power 1 by 5 minus 1, which is going to be negative 4 by 5. So negative 4 by 5 it is. And we already have a 5x here. Okay. Now we have got the numerator. We have got the denominator. And I am taking this denominator and placing it below the numerator, the result of what we have got. So it will be 1 by 5, 32 to the power minus 4 by 5, 5x. So if x gets cancelled, 7 by 5 it is. Now 1 by 8, 1 by 5 is essentially equal to 5 by 8. 1 by 8 by 1 by 5 is 5 by 8. Okay. Now this minus, I am just taking the above in the denominator, below in the numerator, because x raised minus 1 is 1 by x. You can say 1 by x raised minus 1 is x. So this becomes 32 raised to the power 4 by 5. And in the denominator, I am bringing 256 raised to the power 7 by 8. So 32 to the power 1 by 5 to the power 4 you can do. Denominator also 256 to the power 1 by 8 to the power 7 you can do. And we have already seen that 32 raised to the power of 1 by 5 is 2 only. It is 2. And 2 to the power 4 it will be. And what is 256 to the power 1 by 8? Again it will be 2. So it will be 2 raised to the power 7 because 7 is already there. The power of 7 is already there. So 2 raised to the power 7 you can write. So when you cancel these out, it will be 2 raised to the power 3 in the denominator. So 2 raised power 3 in the denominator. Just write it here. 1 by 8 it is. Now write it here 1 by 8. So 5 gets cancels. 7. Denominator is 8 8s are 64. 7 by 64 is your answer. Next one is we have a function which is continuous in the interval -1 to 1. It is continuous. It is already given in the question. So we have a number line here. Just to explain you that this -1 and 1, this is the interval. And -1 and 1 are inclusive because they are in the square bracket. If you have a round bracket, that means these two values will not be counted or they are not included. But here it is included. Now -1 to the 1, that is what we have to see here. Okay. So -1 to 0, you have to take the first function which is I am indicating by A, and 0 to 1 you have to take this function which I am indicating by B. Why? Because we have to take the left hand limit and right hand limit and we just have to equate. That is the whole point of the question or the answer. 0 is the point of continuity or discontinuity which is given that it is continuous in the interval -1 to 1. Okay. So left hand limit and right hand limit will take and will equate it. So on the left hand side we have to put what? X equals 0 minus h. Right hand limit we have to put x as 0 plus h. This is left hand limit. X we have to replace by 0 minus h, which is essentially equal to minus h. Right hand limit 0x is equal to 0 plus h, which is equal to h only. So the first one we have to put it in A, second one we have to put it in the second one, which is B. So first minus h for left hand limit, right hand limit positive h. Let us place it under root 1 plus px. So minus h we replace, so it will be 1 minus ph minus under root minus 1 minus minus is plus. So because we are replacing negative h. So under root 1 plus ph it will be, and in the place of x negative h. We can do one thing. We can swap the position of the under roots and we can get rid of this negative in the denominator. Okay. So let us try to do that. So we have 1 plus ph minus under root 1 minus ph. This is just been done to remove the negative in the denominator. Right? Okay. So we'll deal with this h later. We just have to rationalize this. This we have to rationalize. Okay. So under root 1 plus ph plus under root 1 minus ph, this we have to multiply in the numerator and denominator. Okay. So let us a minus b, a plus b it is. So a square minus b square it will be 1 plus ph minus 1 minus ph. And denominator we have under root 1 plus ph plus under root 1 minus ph. So numerator, because it was a square minus b square. So 1 plus ph minus 1 minus ph. So negative 1 cancel out and we get a twice of ph. Please remember it is not 2 ph, it is 2 ph. I'll just change it. So denominator, you remember h was already there in the denominator. So h gets cancelled. And applying the limit here, under root 1 plus under root 1 in the denominator is 2. Okay. So now this 2 ph divided by 2h it was. So finally what we get? We get only p. Please remember we just get only P. So this is P on the left hand side, that is the -1 to 0. What we got? We got only P. Now we have to deal with the right hand side. So right hand limit, we just have to put 0 plus h, that is h. We just have to put this h. So 2 into h plus 1 divided by h minus 2. Now you can just apply the limit directly. Why? Because it doesn't matter. It will not be 0 by 0 or any other form. It will be just simply minus 1 by 2. So you can just equate these two. Just equate these two. What do you get? It will be minus 1 by 2. P is minus 1 by 2 is the answer. Minus half it will be. Now this is a question where we have 1 and root 2 we have to see. 1 and root 2. Okay. So let us see, because it is changing at 1 and root 2. Since the values are given from 0 to 1, 1 to root 2, root 2 to infinity. 0 to 1, 1 to root 2 and root 2 to infinity. So this is 1. This is root 2. Root 2 is basically 1.414. It is 0. It is infinity. From 0 to infinity, we have 1 and root 2 in between. And this function, whole function is continuous for x which is belonging to 0 to infinity. And then the most suitable values of a and b are. So we have to find out the left hand limit, right hand limit for 1, left hand LHL, RHL for root 2. We will equate and we will get the values of a and b. Okay. So let us start with the x equals 1 first. Then we will talk about x equals root 2. So left hand limit, right hand limit for 1 we have to find out first. Please remember, left hand limit for 1 will be x will replace by 1 minus h. Right hand limit, it will be x equals 1 plus h. So we have 0 to 1 it will be x square by a, 1 to root 2 it will be a, and root 2 to infinity it will be 2b square minus 4b by x square. So we have to put this 1 minus h in x square by a. 1 plus h doesn't matter because it is a constant. A is a constant. And now equate this. 1 minus h whole square by a equals a. So this is 1 minus h whole square equals a square. And just put h as 0. So a square will be 1. A will be plus minus 1. You can apply the limit. You can open 1 minus h whole square. This is the way you have to show your examiner. Don't apply h directly here. A limit h tends to 0. Just 1 minus h whole square. You have to open this and then see what it comes. So finally, as I was discussing, it is a square equals 1. A is plus minus 1. So we are getting two values of a. Now coming to root 2. Now this root 2, if you see here, the left hand side or left hand limit will be only a, because 1 to root 2 is a. And from root 2 to infinity, it will be 2b square minus 4b by x square. And we have to put x as root 2 minus h. And right hand limit, we have to put root 2 plus h. So left hand limit, right hand limit. So it is a. Left hand limit, you don't have to do anything. It is because it is already a. It is a constant. So where are you going to put root 2 minus h? Nowhere. On right hand side, it is 2b square minus 4b. This is also a constant. But in the denominator, you have to put root 2 plus h whole square. Either you can root 2 plus h whole square. Let me just open this. Root 2 plus h whole square is 2 plus h square plus root 2h. A square plus b square plus 2ab. It will be 2 root 2h. So h gets, means wherever h is, just remove it. Only 2 will come. So 2b square minus 4b by 2 is equal to a. Now you can just take 2 common and cancel these out. B square minus 2b is equal to a. Now b square minus 2b equals a. A has two solutions. Remember, a was plus 1, a was minus 1. When you take a as 1, it will be b square minus 2b equals a, and when it forms a quadratic equation, it will be b square minus 2b minus 1. When a is minus 1, b square minus 2b will be equal to negative a. So when it comes on the left hand side, it will be plus 1. So this one is simply b minus 1 whole square. So what do you get? B equals 1 you get. See, b minus 1 equals 0, b equals 1. So when a is equal to minus 1, b is equal to 1, this is one solution. Now coming to a equals 1, you have to solve this equation, and that will not be solved by the factorization. You have to solve it using the Sridhar formula. So b equals minus b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac by 2a, that you have to do. So just equate it with ax square plus bx plus c. So minus minus plus minus 2 plus minus under root b square minus 4ac. So 4 minus 4 into minus 1 divided by 2. So you get 2 plus minus, this is 4 minus 1 minus 4. This is going to be 8. So you can just write it as 2 root 2. Under root of 8 is 2 root 2. And divide by 2. You can take 2 common, cancel it. This out. 1 plus minus root 2. So for a single one solution, you are getting two solutions. So this is not acceptable. For A1, you are getting b as 1 plus root 2. You are getting 1 as 1 minus root 2. That is not acceptable. So a is equal to minus 1. B is equal to 1. This is your answer. This is your answer. So this type of question, as you remember, we have already done this question in our the question answers also, exercises also, and also in the VSAQ, very short answer question. Remember, since f equals f pi by 2 equals lambda, this is given in the question. X is not equal to pi by 2 because x minus 2 pi whole square will be 0. So the fx will be continuous function at x equals pi by 2, where lambda is what? So you have to find out what is f pi by 2, because that will be equal to lambda, right? So things what we are going to do here is limit x tends to pi by 2, and this is fx equals f pi by 2. This is what you have to do, right? So this limit you have to find out. 1 minus sin x, and the limit at the pi by 2. Limit at pi by 2. This is what you have to find out. So 1 minus sin x by pi minus 2x whole square. So x is tending to pi by 2. Since the question is saying it is already continuous at x equals pi by 2, so the left hand limit and right hand limit will be equal. So either you put x as pi by 2 minus h or x as pi by 2 plus h. It is up to you. Why I am saying this? Because the left hand limit and right hand limit we have been doing till now, they are already equal. So x equals pi by 2 minus h. You can also put pi by 2 plus h. This is up to you. So limit h tends to 0. X you have to put as pi by 2 minus h. So 1 minus sine pi by 2 minus h divided by, so pi minus 2 into pi by 2 minus h. I am not squaring, just solving this. Pi minus 2 gets cancelled. Pi minus pi plus h plus 2h, sorry. So pi gets cancelled. You have 2h, and there was a square also. Pi minus 2x pi minus 2x whole square. So this is 2h whole square is 4h whole square. Now you have 4h whole square. What about the numerator? Sin 90 minus theta is cos theta. So 1 minus sin pi by 2 minus h. So 1 minus sin pi by 2 minus h is cos h. So 1 minus cos h is what? 2 sin square h by 2. Now you have 4h square already. So the sin theta by theta limit, sin theta by theta limit theta tends to 0 is 1. So sin h by 2 whole square it is. You need h by 2 whole square in the denominator also. Already h square is there. So you have to have a 4 here. And you have to, when you introduce a 4, you have to have a 4 extra also in the numerator so that it cancels out. What I am trying to do here is limit sin theta by theta equals 1, that we have to do. So this whole is going to be 1 when you apply the limit. Sin theta by theta, as I just told you, limit theta equals 0 is 1. So what do you get? 2 by 16. So it is going to be 1 by 8. So f pi by 2, which is essentially equal to lambda. Lambda we have to find out, which is equal to 1 by 8. 1 by 8 is the answer. Okay, this question we will be taking in the next discussion. Till then, thank you so much. Take care of yourself.